this last video for Practice 1, we're going to talk about the page properties. Page properties allow you to adjust the default settings. The default background color for my page is white, so if I want to make that a different color, I'm going to modify it through my page properties. The default link color for any text is blue with an underline. I'm going to change that as well, and here I have some default settings set up for my regular page font. There are two ways you can access the page properties. One is by clicking on the Page Properties button in the Properties Inspector. If you don't see this button, it's probably because you're selected on an image. When you have an image selected, there's not the option for Page Properties. So the other way you can get there is to go to Modify, Page Properties, Modify from the main menu. Either way, you're going to come to this pop-up window. In this pop-up window for Page Properties, we have several different categories. Each category has a different set of attributes that we can change for that category. You'll notice that there are two appearance categories. One is CSS and the other is HTML. We are only going to set the attributes in the appearance for CSS category. On this first category, what we can change here are the background colors. So I'm going to click onto that gray square where there's a little arrow and choose a different background color. Chose a gray, and if I want to see how that looks without closing out this window, I'm going to click on the Apply button. I could then choose a different color, Apply. If I click on the OK button, it closes out that window, and I have to again open it up. So I'm going to go for the little bit more neutral gray, Apply. And I can change my page font. Now currently, the only thing that is page font is actually my white flower. These are links, and to set these, I'm going to want to go into my links category. So under page font, I have groups of different types of fonts. All of these groups are in 3, and that is because your browser is going to look to see what fonts are on that computer. So for example, if I choose this group, it's going to look to see, do they have Times New Roman? And if they don't, well, do they have Times? And if they don't have Times, do they have serif? I currently have my default setting is set to Times New Roman, so I'm going to choose something different. I'll choose Courier New and Apply, just so you can see the difference. So all of my font changed. Well, that's because in my links category, I have my link font set to be the same as my page font, but I can set it to be something different. I'll choose Times New Roman for this font and hit Apply, and now just any text that was a link has taken on the attribute that I have set in the links category. The other things I can change for my links category are the link color, so I want it to just be black. The rollover, so when someone puts their mouse on it, would I like it to change color? Yes, I want it to change to red. The visited link, so after they've already viewed it, should it be a different color? I'm going to keep it at black. And active, I'm also going to stay at black. Do I want it to underline? That's just a default setting, so I could change that. I'm going to change it to show underline only on rollover. So when they first view the page, it's not going to have an underline. When they put their mouse on it, an underline is going to come up. Okay, I've set all my attributes in this link category. I'm going to go back to my appearance category, and let's see what else I can set here. I set my page font. I could choose my size. This is a little bit more complicated, a little bit beyond this class to talk about all the different types of font sizes, but you can just kind of experiment, see what does 14 pixels look like, what does 16 pixels look like. My text color, I'm not going to leave it at default color. Even though it looks like it's black, I'm going to put in black. And my background color I've already set. If I had an image that I wanted to be in my background, I would browse and look for that, and then I could say, do I want it to repeat on my X or my Y axis, or how many times to repeat. At the bottom here you have your margins. So again, every single browser is going to have its default margins. If I want my images to come down a little bit, I could put a top margin of 30, and it keeps it at px for pixels, hit Apply, and you can see everything comes down a little bit. The last category that I'd like you to set your attributes in is in the headings category. And we don't have any headings on our page, but I'm going to show you how to apply those. Heading font. same as the page font, or I could choose a different kind of font. I'm just going to leave it as the same. Heading 1 for the size. I'm going to pick the largest size, 36px for pixels. And I'm just going to choose a really bright color so it's easy to see. Heading 2, I'm going to make the next size smaller because you should have them go as the heading gets to be a higher number, the font size should be smaller. And I'll choose another bright color just for the sake of example. And I hit apply and nothing changes. And I'll show you why in a second. And I'm going to click OK. So I've changed the categories or set the categories for my appearance, links, and headings. And I click OK. So the first thing to notice is, hey, I don't see that this is a link. I can't do anything. I'm not getting that rollover effect or anything like that. And that's because in Dreamweaver, none of those things can be viewed. Your rollovers are not viewed while you're in Dreamweaver. You have to preview them on the web in your browser. Oh, save changes? Yes, I have to save changes to be able to see those effects. So now you see I'm previewing this in Internet Explorer that when I put my mouse over these two that are links, they change to be the rollover color that I set in my links category, and they have the underline attribute that I also set in my links category of to show underline on rollover. White flower doesn't do anything because I never made it a link. Okay? And these are also links, and I know that because I get the hand. I'm going to close this page out and just, again, so I don't see any of those characteristics in Dreamweaver. There is something here that's called Live View that tries to stimulate or to simulate the same effect of being on a browser, but in my experience it doesn't work that well, so I choose not to work with Live View. I'm going to click on it to switch out of that. Okay, now I said I was going to talk about how to apply the headings. So I'm just going to click here, and this is not on your worksheet. I'm just going to go forward a little bit here. And let's say I wanted to have a heading 1, and this would maybe be a title on the top of my page. So how do I get to apply the attributes that I set in my page properties? We're going to do that through our Properties Inspector. Heading 1, I'm going to select that by clicking and dragging over it. And now go down to my Properties Inspector, and where it says Format, Paragraph. That is whatever attributes I set in my page properties under the Appearance category for page font. But if I click and click on this, I get a drop down, and I can see other headings. So if I choose heading 1, it's going to take on the attributes that I set for heading 1. Pretty horrible colors. Heading 2, I set it to be yellow and slightly smaller. Okay? So that's another way that you can adjust your text, is by setting your attributes for your headings and then selecting the text in your document area, and under Format, clicking and selecting one of those headings here. So I'm going to just select that and hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of it. And just to finish up the practice, I'm going to select white flower, and that one also needs to be linked. So now that changed its attributes to be the attributes I had set for my link. And I'm going to save this page, go to my mountain page, and I'm going to click on that image. I'm going to format, align to the center. It's a little slow because I'm working through Citrix. I do get this little box around here. Don't worry about it. It's just a visual code. I want to have underneath my image the word home, and I'm going to click on that and drag across it to select it, and point to file. I'm linking that back to my index page. So the goal is that the viewer never has to use the browser back button. Every page should always have a navigation that gets them forward and back. And now I need to set my page properties for this. I'm going to just do this kind of quickly, set the background color to be a gray again, and go into my links category, put show underline on rollover, change my color to red, and my rollover color to red, and my regular link color to black. And that's all set. Save this page. Now I'm just going to use the keyboard shortcut Control S. Go to red flower. Same thing. Click on my image. Format, align, center. It's in the center. click, hit the Enter key on my keyboard, type in home, oops, not Homer, home, select that link field, drag it over to index, set my page properties, and of course there are faster ways to do this, but as we're just starting out, it's good practice to do it all manually. Set my link color to black and roll over to red. Save this page, Control S, and finish it up with white flower, format, align, center, click down, home, link to index, page properties, gray, links, show on underlined. And you can choose whatever attributes you want. I just want you to be aware that they're there. Click OK, save it, start out on my index page, preview, F12, and let's make sure that they're all working. Links are all working here. Clicks to this page, and if I go down, I should have a home button. Takes me back. Okay, and that is pretty much all of practice 1.